Do you ever feel stuck between wanting control and craving freedom? Between anxious overthinking and playful spontaneity? Today we are naming that tension, the bothness of anxiety and improv, the need for safety, and the practice of saying yes and. Welcome to It's Both, the podcast for people living in the gray, where mixed emotions, hard decisions, and real-life transitions meet simple tools for clarity and calm. I'm your host, Nikki P., a therapist turned storyteller. My guest today is Emma Supica, a Nashville-based educator, speaker, and improviser who quite literally turns mistakes into motion. She's the founding executive director of Unscripted, a nonprofit using improv to heal, connect, and empower communities. Emma has nearly 20 years of teaching experience and has led playful, research-backed trainings for teams from Amazon to the U.S. Army brigades and other adult communities. Her work with Vanderbilt University, published in the Journal of the Learning Sciences, explores how groups learn through attunement and play. In this conversation, we dig into how improv can lower the volume on anxiety without pretending it isn't there, how to build nervous system flexibility, reframe failure as data, and use the method yes and to communicate with more authenticity. If you've ever wondered how to hold both preparation and the permission to be messy, this one is for you. So let's jump in. Emma, it's so good to have you here. It's so nice to meet you for the first time, but I am just so excited to hear a bit about your story, about the work that you're doing. And before we jump in, I was just hoping you could tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to chat about all of this. My name is Emma, and I am an improviser and a nonprofit executive director and an educator and a mom. Yeah, that's it. That's not it, but I think that's all I'll lead. That's all I'll lead with.
I was going to say, any of those things individually is a lot. And then you put it all together and it's like, wow.
There's a lot of things. But yeah, that's it.
A lot of things.
That's kind of what is my daily. Whatever my neurodivergence brand is, it turns into oversharing. So I think that most people know most things about me. And sort of the thing I like is for people to see me, to feel seen. One of my favorite things is when my friends do impressions of me, like people who I know love me.
I love this. Yeah.
It's so good. Like it makes me feel so loved and seen. Even if it's a little roasty, it still is like, you get me, and nothing, I can't ask for anything more than that. So I'll leave, I think most people know a lot about me. If you know me, you know me, but people are often surprised to hear that I grew up in a really rural small town in Kansas. That's something that comes up, I don't know, at some point. I also I was born in China. I was born in Hong Kong because my parents were in the Foreign Service. All the sort of cultural influences of my life, I think that they totally make who I am. But I don't know if you would have necessarily mapped it just by listening to me or seeing me in a daily way.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How long were you in China before you went to Kansas?
So born in Hong Kong, but lived in Beijing and then lived in Malaysia for a year, but moved to Kansas when I was the summer I turned 5 years old. So I went to preschool in Malaysia, but kindergarten through, the rest of school was in the States and in Kansas.
What a big culture shock. I know that's not what we're talking about today, but that's a crazy shift from China, Beijing, Malaysia to rural Kansas. And I can say this, having lived in Kansas and have family in Kansas, that's a life shift there.
It really was, because it wasn't even we moved to Kansas City or a city. It was I grew up in a 1,200 population town. It was great, though. We can totally talk about it. I feel like it's very much of the both, very much of the bothness.
No, I love it. So talk to me a bit about, for those who don't know, so you are the CEO? Is it CEO or founder?
I'm founding executive director. ED is nonprofit, nonprofit language. But yeah, that's it. That's my title, executive director.
And it's of Unscripted.
Yes.
Yeah. So talk to us about, what is Unscripted? What is it? How did that come about, for those that don't know?
Yeah. So Unscripted, nonprofit organization based in Nashville, Tennessee. Our mission statement is that we heal, empower, and connect the community through equitable and accessible improv programming. So I founded this organization 8 years ago. like a week from now is going to be our 8th birthday. So coming up on,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. So I started taking improv classes. Let's see, my sort of like improv origin story aligns a lot with the unscripted origin story. So my degree is in music education. And then I got a master's degree in nonprofit leadership. So I have a master's of ed in nonprofit leadership. And at some point, I moved to when I moved to Nashville, I left public school music teaching and entered the sort of nonprofit world. I found that was, that felt good to me. I myself am kind of a competitive person. Like I'm an Enneagram 3. I like achieving, winning,
I was
all
just
that.
about
Like
to ask, are you an
what my
Enneagram 3?
yeah, I'm a 3-wing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna like win at helping.
Yeah.
So I got into the nonprofit world and was like, this is so great. I'm helping humans be better through music teaching rather than like getting high ratings. It just felt like there's some cognitive dissonance here. Like it should be what I like, being like a high school marching band director, but it's not. And I just didn't get it. Anyway, so I moved to Nashville and started working at the W.O. Smith Music School, which is an excellent nonprofit organization here in town, and was like, oh, I'm going to keep going with this. I'll get my master's degree. And I'd done theater, like I did musical theater a lot and was in like a children's play in college. And my grandfather was a big theater professor at KU. So theater was always in my family. A lot of my family are actors or have been in his plays over the years. And I kind of chose music, but theater was always like deep in my heart of what I loved to do, loved to perform. And then, so I was really close with my grandfather. His name is Ron Willis. And he passed away, in 2015, 24, I can't remember exactly. I think 2015. And, when any of, somebody close to you passes away, you start like looking at your own mortality and you start going like, what's going on? And that happened with me. And there were all these beautiful stories that came back because they hate a lot of former students who would like write on his Facebook wall to talk about. That's how long ago this was. The Facebook wall, just to tell stories about him, like when he died, and it was really lovely to read all of them. And one of the stories I really latched onto was that somebody said that on the day he retired, or like his last day before retirement, they said, "Hey, Ron, do you have any final words of wisdom to give us, like on your last day?" And he told this story that he was like, I have all these books at my house. I love to read. I love books. I collect so many books and I've got them all over there, like in stacks on the floor. They're all over the place in my house. And I keep meaning to build bookshelves for these books. And I have all the materials. I have the tools. I even have books on how to build bookshelves, but I haven't done it yet. So my advice to you is to build your bookshelves. And it landed with me because it's, first of all, very a him story. And I was like, what am I not doing? What am I afraid of? What am I putting off? Because I have this, like, I got to be perfect at it. I got to be really good or whatever it is. Improv was so scary for me. I was so terrified about the idea of improv, even though I felt really confident in other performance areas. Like, I'm not scared. I don't have stage fright, but improv was, ooh, that sounded awful. And so I thought, oh man, that's it. So literally I'm like writing what I'm going to say at his memorial service and I'm Googling improv in Nashville, improv classes. And so I started taking classes. I thought I was going to be a really great improviser actually, because like, I think I'm smart, I'm funny, I'm good at performing. And they're going to be like, we have
you're
nothing
going to
to
be
teach
the
this
one.
girl. Yeah. Like send her to SNL. There's nothing more to learn here. And that was not what happened. I was very bad at it. And I don't know, but very bad, but I felt very bad at it. And I remember being in this space and people were like breaking rules. Like teachers would be like, here's what to do in the exercise. And I would go, because I'm an Enneagram 3. How do I win? How do I win improv? Exactly. How do I do this the best? How are you going to know that I'm the best and you can like assign me a gold star or A plus? And like, that's just not how it goes. That's not how it works. And it took me a long time to accept that and let go and not control and not try to anticipate in order to be best, all of this. And so
can I ask real quick?
Interrupt. I'm talking so much.
No. This is great. You're the guest. You should be talking. You're going to win this podcast, Emma.
Yeah, great. I'll tell my therapist.
No, so I'm curious because from what I know about improv, like how were you bad at it? What was the bad part? Were you just like not saying anything or were you like interrupting and saying, actually, no, you're not supposed to do that?
This is a great question. People don't often ask me this. They just accept that I was bad at it. I think so. I think I retroactively see that I was bad at it. In the moment, I was like, I'm not being applauded and praised as much as I typically would be in a thing that I'm doing, which is such a asshole thing to say, but
we all think it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that's where I was at. Looking back, I just wasn't having fun. I wasn't having fun doing it. I was trying to achieve it and accomplish it rather than be in the moment and be present and have fun and follow what was fun for me. And that's it. So it's like I wasn't free. And that doesn't make me a terrible improviser, but it doesn't make me a good one. And so that was it. I thought that I could work harder and be better because that's how the rest of my life had worked. And this was a space where that's not how it went. It was this process that I just had to really be in. And that's it. So I don't think people were like, who sucks at improv? Emma. I don't think that they went home and talked about that. But I don't think that they went home and said, who's great at improv? Emma.
Emma.
Yeah,
I think it was just improv.
Like nobody was like, get her on the team. She's good. Not yet. So anyway, that was it. I was like, I think this is turning me into a better person. I think this is inviting me to be in the moment and let go and I mean, all kinds of things I think were happening mentally and emotionally. And it was like, this should be for everybody. This is like, everybody should have access to this. How do we make this more available to people? And how do we like learn more? My background in music ed really helped me. Like the University of Kansas's music education program is really tied closely with their music therapy program. So the idea of like therapeutic applied arts was very near I was very aware of that. And so I thought, like, how do we do the same thing here? I think this is very therapeutic. This is very good people work. Let's really, it's sort of, and up until then, I kind of realized that it happened kind of accidentally. And I think it still kind of does. People sign up for a class for whatever reason, and they get other goals out of, they become better public speaker, they make friends, whatever it is. And it was like, well, how can we make an organization that focuses on that primarily rather than the performance bit? And then kind of learn it. I mean, the organization has evolved a lot since that, but that's where it started, which is, this is helpful. Let's focus on the helpful parts and kind of put that at the front. And yeah, that's it.
Which is amazing because coming from nonprofit world, and I've been in nonprofits, like it'll be 10 years this coming July, which is crazy. So I've been in therapy. I'm a therapist. So I've done private practice. I've also done nonprofit. And it is really interesting because I don't know why this isn't more widespread and more of a thing. I mean, I fully agree with you and everything I know about therapy, everything I know. I've also pursued acting and like I've gone to acting classes. I have all these little bits and pieces and I go, oh my God, yes. Why is this not being infused in more things? Because to your point, I don't know of an area where practicing presence, where not preemptively anticipating someone's response. I mean, obviously, if you're like threatened bodily, of course you need to anticipate. But I think most of us live our life from that perspective rather than I'm just going to be present and listen and respond and do yes and. And like public speaking is a great example of that because I think having been somebody who gets up and speaks a lot, in the beginning, I was horrible. I was awful. I couldn't handle the silence. I was just like, I'm just going to like say stuff and keep it from being quiet. And the more I practiced that almost exposure therapy, I was like, oh, actually, silence is okay. And if I am a bit slower and more silent and I can be responsive to what I'm seeing and feeling for those that I'm speaking to, I'm still not great, but I've gotten increasingly better over the years. And so like hearing you talk about this, I go, yes, every organization needs this. Like, I just want to go and get you signed up everywhere.
Yeah, there's so many things I want to respond to what you just said because I'm feeling very sparked about it. I sort of like joke that I'm looking for the space where improv doesn't help because I haven't discovered it yet. And I sort of also call myself an improv evangelist. I'm like, do you know about this? I have great news for you. There's this joyful, playful art form that's going to help. It's going to help. So yeah, that sort of commitment to presence, to listening in Improv for Anxiety, which is a class and a program that we do, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited about this.
You said something that made me think about that, which is the idea of like, sometimes if you're in danger, you have to anticipate. But that's a thing that we talk about a lot in that class, which is like, yep, our nervous systems, our bodies, evolution, we've evolved to fend off to see if a lion is coming, and like a lion's probably not coming at you. So how are you in relationship with that feeling so that you understand it and you know what, that's my body just thinking that there's a lion coming at me, but I'm actually safe. And it's not about denying anxiety or, saying like, get out, fixing anxiety. It's really like, yep, you're here. It's yes anding the anxiety. It's like, yeah, you're here and you're here for a reason. Thank you. You're just not in charge. You're just not driving the car. So it's practicing that in a really supportive environment. I mean, at the end of the day, improv is like making stuff up with friends, and you're not, nothing bad will happen. Nothing bad will happen if you totally mess up. And in fact, mistakes are gifts in improv. So it's not even like you can mess up. You could be a jerk. You could like go in and of course, like there's, ranges to that, but you can't do it wrong. You just go in and bring what you have. You have everything you need to be successful in that space. So
how can you talk about how can you not do it wrong? Because I go,
yeah, you don't believe me. Totally.
I can.
I don't believe me sometimes.
Well, how do you not do it wrong? And also, what was the other thing you said? Oh, mistakes are gifts. Talk about those two things, because I'm like, ooh, that's juicy.
Great. I love this so much. So first of all, I have not checked improv off. Improv is my lifelong practice. I will continually learn from improv. I will continuously grow and be in process. I will never be done getting it. And so it's important to say that out loud. I am where I am in my practice and journey. It's very much like mindfulness. It's like therapy. It's like this. It's like all these things that you just, you're in it. So mistakes are gifts. You can't do it wrong. They are kind of cliche platitudes, so sort of in the improv world, but they are also very true and very real. So if you, and I'm going to come at it from two different angles. One is one of our teachers, Brian, he told me this thing that I really love that I think he got from another teacher, and I'm really sorry that I don't remember their name, but he said, you can either be delighted that what you thought was going to happen happened, or you can be delighted that something unexpected happened. And that is a beautiful framing because you're delighted either way, and neither of them are the right or wrong choice. It's just what you thought or the unexpected thing. And so in an improv scene, there's, inside you might be tempted to go like, how do I do this right? How do I make sure that I'm making the right next choice so that the scene unfolds as though it should? And how boring, how limiting, how like, okay, yes, you executed the scene, but were you actually discovering what was there? Were you actually open to what was present in that space? Because we don't, as an audience, we don't want to watch something that we expect. We want to see the day the thing happened that was weird. What? Why is this? Like, why would we be watching if it were just like every other day? I always think about what I would look like on reality TV. And it's just like most days.
Me too.
Most days it would be pretty boring. First of all, they're going to catch me watching reality TV on reality TV, and like nobody wants to see that. But it's like, okay, great. Then in an improv scene, we want something unexpected. And so a mistake is one, I think, path to that sort of like, and I don't even like using the term mistake because this isn't written. So you have to commit to the concept that anything is possible. And there are certain agreements that we make of support, and, we practice the craft of it together. And so you get better at not like saying the next right thing, but being aware of what's possible and grabbing on and using that information. So those are the things you just get better at listening. Like that's what it is over time. Not just, but that's one of the biggest things is what is here? What do I have? What could this mean? If this is true, what else is true? Those are like all muscles that just grow as you do more and more improv. And that's why mistakes are gifts, because if somebody comes in and says, I don't know, like, especially if it's not a mistake based on listening, like if you just didn't listen, that's like bad improv.
Mhm.
But if you made an error in pronouncing something,
Oh, I gotcha.
you know, which feels mortifying in the moment, but then could be, or like something like if you didn't know Chicago was in the United States and you decided that you were like, oh, Chicago, Italy. Okay, that's
Then
very interesting. Let's see
huh.
Chicago and Italy. Yeah, I want to see that. That sounds way better than just like, I'm going to get on MTA or CTA and take the, I don't know, I'm not from Chicago, but you get it. It's
Yeah.
just like, okay, that's what we expected was going to happen. How boring. So mistakes are gifts. Thank you for this piece of
Mm.
information that is kind of unexpected. Now I get to play with it.
Mhm.
That's it. It's play.
Oh, that's so good because and I'm also thinking, well, part of my brain goes, "Oh my god, I would be so awful at improv." I'm like, "Hey, I would be great because I mispronounce things all the time. I make mistakes all the time." And then I make a joke about it. I'm like, "That's okay. I can do that. I make mistakes all the
Yeah.
time."
Yeah. Basically, if you don't bail on yourself or
Mm.
your scene partners, you're going to be fine. That really is that's like a big key to it. That's why before most shows, like me and my teammates, my scene partners, we say I got your back. Meaning like
Mm.
if
I
you
love
step
that.
out there and you say something real stupid, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Like I
We're
got
just
you.
going to go with it.
We're
Yeah.
just gonna go with it. It's gonna look correct
Mm.
because I was like, yeah, that's right. Let's do this. Let's see Chicago and Italy. Okay.
And what a great analogy, I think, for life. I'm even thinking to any relationship you have, like if you just don't bail. I don't
Just don't
bail on
bail.
my partner. I don't bail on my kids. Something crazy happens. I'm like, okay, we're going to go with it.
Hmm.
I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Yeah, that's right.
So, as you explain this, talk a bit about the psychology or the science behind now. How do you pair this with improv for anxiety? Is there
Hmm.
something different in that improv class? And how does it help anxiety?
Totally. Okay, I want to preface this by saying I'm not a therapist or a
Yeah.
scientist, but I have been in this class and I've been near this
Yeah.
class and like learned a lot through it. So that's my little
Hmm.
whatever. So it's not exposure therapy. You know, it's not exactly exposure therapy, but we're definitely improv can incite anxiety for most people. Even
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get a little bit like before every show, I'm like, do I remember how to do this? And I do because I'm here. I'm a human
Hmm.
being and I can listen and that's it. I'm present. As long as I'm
Yeah.
present, I got it. And so we developed this class in partnership, like improvisers and therapists did this together. So Sarah Rogers, who is a therapist here, she is a drama therapist and like has a lot of experience in this space. And we developed this curriculum together. And so inside the class, it's a 6-week class, and an improviser and a therapist co-lead the class together.
Ooh, I love
So,
that.
so there are other improv for anxiety programs around the country, not a ton, but definitely some. And I think that ours is the only one, or at least it was a little bit ago, that had this co-teacher model. And I really like that because improv is a collaborative, like it's a team
Hmm.
sport. So why wouldn't it all kind of have that energy to it? Plus, it allows the balance, like a back and forth between somebody who's talking about an improv exercise, which is like their specialty, and then a
Hmm.
therapist who's coming around maybe afterwards and inviting reflection and also offering psychoeducational pieces like the sort of, hey, it's because you think a lion is coming, but a lion isn't
Hmm.
coming. So it's sort of like understanding how your anxiety shows up in your body, neurologically, all of those things. And so participants get an email every week that sort of gives them homework, like therapy homework that's like, think about
Yes.
this thing,
Yes.
and then a bunch of resources. Listen to this podcast, read this article. They're not required, but they are just like, we're trying to give you
Hmm.
as much information as possible. And then inside the class itself is that embodied practice of it, because we know our bodies are sending so much information, right? Our brains and our bodies are just like constantly. And so sitting and listening and talking is beautiful and so important. But getting up on your feet and moving, or just like in a chair, whatever it is, when you're connecting your body and putting it
Hmm.
into practice, first of all, it's super fun. People are
Yep.
laughing,
Yep.
and you don't necessarily, it's play, and play therapy is a whole like science-backed thing. And for adults, we don't play.
I was
We're
just about to say,
just
where's the play therapy for adults? It's
exactly
here.
where is the play therapy for adults? And so that's what improv is it's just playing. We're letting our inner children be there. Like they get to show up. And we don't necessarily get too much into inner child stuff because again, it's like a 6-week group class.
Yeah.
So we're not doing huge deep dives, but what we do say is we invite people to have their own individual experiences or sort of reflection pieces. It's going to show up differently for everybody. My anxiety is not social. My anxiety, I'm like, I don't have a problem talking to people or like being in a space. But I do get anxiety around other things. I had really serious postpartum anxiety, which is when I first took the class. I took it myself. And so, whatever it is good. You're going to have your own experience and we can kind of reflect through it. So the science of it is really that it's like play. It is being in community with other people. Everybody, they like being in a space where other people are maybe going through similar things or at least curious about the same things. And then every week has kind of a different focus or a different theme. And it's a lot about getting out of your head and into your body. Mistakes are gifts is one of them. It's like it's like everybody's favorite week, but it's really focused on play, getting in your body and applying the things that you think about. Like, I think I understand how to cope with my symptoms of anxiety, but then you get to practice them in that space in a very low stakes environment. Like you're not at work. You're not with your partner or your family. You're not negotiating something super, high level. You're playing. This is all made up. You're going to walk away and nothing bad has happened because you were there. So it's kind of reteaching your body or at least giving yourself the experience of that was fine. Or maybe even that was super fun.
Yeah. Which I would imagine is where that exposure therapy, I know it's not officially exposure therapy, technically. I know you said that, but yeah. Which all I think of when I think of exposure therapy is as long as it's safe, if I push myself to sit in the discomfort or the anxiety about whatever it is long enough for my internal self that's freaking out to come down and realize the lion isn't coming. Like I'm still not feeling the most at ease, but this is okay. I can it's here. Hey, how you doing? We're here together. We can move forward. And so I would imagine when you think about exposing yourself in these situations to a situation that produces anxiety in most of us, even for a minute, especially if you have social anxiety, this would probably be such a great and safe space to expose yourself to that and learn how to sit with it, acknowledge it, and grow your own capacity for dealing with that moving forward.
That's exactly it. Growing your own capacity is totally it. And everybody starts somewhere different and they're dealing different things bother them. I also I don't avoid always saying safe space, but I usually try to use the term supported space because, I can't guarantee safety,
That's true. Yeah.
but no, and that's not, I'm not trying to argue semantics. It's just what I offer
No, it makes
people.
sense.
Is no, I can't guarantee that you're safe. I can guarantee that you're supported and no one's going to bail on you. You've got a therapist in the room with you and therefore you are likely safe. That is leads to safety. But we start with this support and then, that's it.
Are there any little tips or tools that you can give that are an example, not to give away your program, obviously, but little things that you could say oh, hey, here's something we do this week. And what a great tool that you can take outside of the class that could apply to other situations.
Man, we talk through a lot of stuff in the class and that mistakes are gifts week is
That's a great
that it's everybody's favorite week. It's so fun because you get to feel what it's like to mess up and know what's on the other side. And it's usually better. It's not even just oh, that was okay, I didn't die. It's usually that was better than I expected it was going to be. And that's really, really cool. And so without, there are plenty of exercises that we do that kind of force failure. And there is a fun exercise. I actually don't think that we do this in this class, but a lot of our classes, even if they're not the improv for anxiety class, they use these sort of mindfulness, this is what, we teach improv in recovery. We teach improv in women's prison. We teach, even when I'm doing workplace corporate training, I'm there to help you connect with your inner child.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
don't say it as much. I'm like, we're going to
Sure.
we're going to, like when I'm teaching the army, like when I teach the US Army, it's like, I'm going to teach you better communication skills so you can do the army stuff better. But I'm really like, okay, what are your feelings about that? And I'm secretly, we're doing that a little bit too, because like being a better human, or not a better human, but like
Yeah.
connected to yourself, it's going to make you better in all of these spaces. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
there is an exercise that I really love that I tell people, especially in situations like this,
Mm-hmm.
that help you slow down and be very present, which is definitely a theme in improv for anxiety. And that's called last letter, first letter. And so this is a game you can do on your own. They don't even have to know that you're playing this exercise with them. Because most improv is like, you need a group of 5 or 6 people and play this game. This is something you do just by yourself, or like
Mm-hmm.
you're the only one who needs notes happening, which is I'm listening to your entire sentence, and the last word that you say, the last letter of the last word that you say, I'm going to use to start my next sentence.
Ooh.
And it's clunky in when it's like in the exercise can be kind of clunky, and it makes people say things like yikes to start, because if they ended with a Y.
Yeah.
But it's a really, even if you don't say it out loud, even if you don't start with yikes, but you go, you just internally are
Mm-hmm.
listening to the whole thing, that is forcing you to be super present and actually listen, instead of just going like, okay, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, you're not going to hear everything that the other person has to say. So that's sort of a little tip trick that I give people as individuals once they like leave the class. Here's something you can literally use to just kind of have fun, but crank up your listening.
Yeah. I was doing it right then, and I was
See?
like, whoa, I really am. I mean, I was paying attention. I was definitely not somewhere else, but there is another level of, oh gosh, what is the word I'm thinking? It's not even listening. It's, I guess, just presence. Maybe that is really just the best word.
Yeah,
It's a great tool.
it's a great tool. There was a person in a workshop that I did in May who started to get really emotional, like, and we were playing a game. I mean, it was not a heavy anything. And she started to cry, like well up a little bit. And I was just checking in with her, and she wanted to share with the whole group. She was like, I haven't been this present in a very long time. And it's a little intense for me to be so here right
Mm-hmm.
now. And I get it. It's so easy for us to just kind of go through the motions. As a parent, I find myself just like, yeah, I'm sure I know what you're saying to me. I can just skip right over it. But if when I can slow way down and be super present, it just feels so different, because I think
Mm-hmm.
we unconsciously do it in our lives so much. We just kind of detach, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have to like kind of
Yeah.
compartmentalize and go wherever, but it's a nice return to presence and
Mm-hmm.
being in process.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I feel like the moments where I've practiced that, and I would imagine you learn this in class too, is I think a lot of us have, again, anxiety about what are we going to say? What's the response? Like, we want to say the right thing. We want to say the like mind blowing thing that sticks with them forever, whatever it is, right? But obviously, well, not obviously, let me take that back. What I've noticed is when I'm focused on that, I don't say good things. I don't
Mm,
say meaningful, impactful things. The times I say that is when I am so present in the moment. And I even take a little while longer to respond when there is a pause or a silence, which again, historically for me, even still fight it now. I go, it's too quiet. Like, I gotta like say something. But when I can just go, it's okay, like to be quiet for a second, those moments I've gone, holy shit, like I just said the thing because I was actually just present with this person. And so I think as you're talking, I was like, yes, that is exactly, I'm thinking about my child. I'm thinking about this person at work who's going through something really hard. And when we can just fully be there and not detach, it's a whole different experience.
whole different experience. And that is it's such a practice and a
Mm-hmm.
process. It's not a skill. It's also something that I get worse at it. I get a little less in relationship with it, when I'm not practicing it as much.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, improv, because I teach it so often, I can phone it in. I'm able to like just auto,
Mm-hmm.
but I get so much more out of it when I'm present.
Mm-hmm.
It is so, even now, I play the same exercises all the time. There's only like, intro exercises. There's only so many you can do day one in a really impactful way, but like they're fun, they're good. So I do them a lot. And I've got my sort of script in the way that I teach them. But when I am really paying attention to what the room needs, how it feels, everybody, and what the like sort of energy of the space is and what's going on, it's so much better. And I leave. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to teach improv today. I don't want to do this. It's my job. So there are days where I'm like, I'm so tired. I got all this stuff. But every single time I leave happier. I leave better. I leave more connected to myself and to others. I am more in joy. And that is so cool. I was going to say, we were talking, you were saying about saying like a better thing because you paused or like we're in that. My best moments on stage, the moments that have gotten the biggest laugh, which is not necessarily always my goal, but I love when I'm so present in a scene that I am shocked. I'm like surprised when people are laughing because, and that those have been the funniest things I've ever said. The biggest laughs I've ever gotten are the ones that kind of jolt me out of it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. There's an audience here because I was just so present in that moment. And that's the coolest. That's when you know it's working. And that there's like flow state in improv too that feels so good. It's so yummy when it happens. And like I'm chasing that moment all the time. I want to be in that flow, that really, really present time. It feels really good.
I want to pause here for a second because I know some of you listening are going to relate to this next part. You've built a good life. You're showing up for everyone else, kids, partner, work, friends, and you've done all the right things to take care of yourself. The journaling, the workouts, the books, and yet you're still tired, still anxious, still feeling like you're running on fumes. If that's you, hear me now. You are not failing. You're just stuck in survival mode, and no amount of doing is going to work until your nervous system feels safe. That's exactly what you'll work on inside the Courageous Living group from Janice Holland. She's also known as the trauma teacher. She's a licensed psychotherapist and certified trauma model therapist who helps high-functioning individuals finally find relief. The Courageous Living Group is a 60-day nervous system reset for people who are done over-functioning, people-pleasing, and holding it all together. This group reset includes 8 weekly group sessions that are live, but are also recorded in case you can't attend the live sessions. You'll have lifetime access to the course portal, including replays, weekly journal prompts with integration practices, somatic healing tools, and a private WhatsApp group chat for support. Because you don't need to do more. You need to feel safe enough to receive the life you've already built. Click the link in the show notes below to get started. I haven't done it specifically with improv, but that flow state that you're talking about, it's like once you get in it, you're like, I do not want this to stop. I don't want this to end. And it's funny, I don't think I said it earlier, but this podcast is all about the bothness and the duality of life. Two things can be true. And I think about that with improv, and like the connection I'm thinking throughout our whole conversation is even the term yes and like that's the bothness of life. And yet improv states it so clearly, and so few things and people and places in life talk about the bothness. And this is just a great example of that. Well, in so many ways, not only that exercise of going yes and, because I think about that a lot. I'm like, it's both this and that. Yes, it's this, but it's also this. And just because they seem contradictory or they seem opposing doesn't mean they can't both exist. Doesn't mean that you can't, I think about feelings, for example, you can feel joy and despair. You can feel those in the same moment. But I think we often don't acknowledge that, and that the lack of acknowledgement creates that like tornado inside of us because we don't realize what's happening. And so I think when I think about this as it ties to improv, I go, well, if improv is helping you, one, even just the idea of going, I'm anxious, so I'm going to do the thing that makes me anxious. I mean, that's a both moment right there, and it's going to help me. But also the tools that it gives you, it helps you, I would imagine, go, I'm present and I'm aware, which makes me a bit more able in my daily life to name the things that are happening, which helps with this tornado. Because to me, the biggest internal tornado is when I'm not articulating all the things that are happening inside. So it just feels like this messy whirlwind. But when I can name it, I'm still stressed, but I go, at least I know. I
Yeah.
know what's happening.
Yes. And in an improv scene, I often coach like every little thing matters. All of it is information that you've been given. A lot of people, like, the thing that feels scary about improv is, what if I step out there and I don't know what to say? That's probably like the biggest
Yeah,
sort of anxiety. I
sure.
do the same thing, right? But you've got everything, like
Mm,
every single thing when you're slowing down and you're taking it all in and you're able to name what's going on and your awareness. Somebody walks on stage that you look at their face and there's something here. There's some kind of
mm,
emotion. There's some way that they carry their body. There's something that's true, and you get to receive it, and however you interpret that and respond to that is correct, and that's going to move the scene forward, even if it's not what they were trying to give you, because
mhm,
they've also committed to saying yes and. So, yep, whatever you gave me is right, and I'm going to go take it inside. And I'm going to give back something that I think is true now. It's sort of like, if this is true, what else is true?
mhm,
And those kind of like differing, like way over here and way over here, these things feel really opposite. Like, I do a lot of narrative improv, so it's
mhm,
less like short form, whose line is it anyway, kind of games that you might think of. I teach a lot of that, but when I'm performing, it's more long form narrative. So the thing that I do the most is an improvised musical, and that is probably the most. It's so fun. Yes, I love it so much. I just got distracted just thinking about it. So fun. That's the most like prescriptive improv that I do, because
mhm,
there are kind of some tropes, some archetypes. We've got to be able to sing a song together. So we do practice some patterns. But beyond that, I'm not like choosing my character. We don't choose the plot. We don't think about. So there's no right way for us to get through it. We're just like, we've got this toolkit, and
mhm,
we're constantly just like gazing across to the landscape to go like, oh, what tool might work here? I'm going to try this tool. I'm going to try this tool. Oh, let's sing a duet. Okay, I know how to start a duet. We're going to communicate sort of like non-verbally, like we're singing together. You're going to do. Oh, we're not. Okay, I'll sing by myself. Are we dancing? Great. I'm going to use my body to show. All of this is like,
mhm,
there's constant communication that's not, okay, here's the plan, we're going to write it out. It's we're, on the fly creating it together just by going for it. And it's because all that information is there. We're just radically committed to saying yes and in our daily lives, there is everything we need to.
mhm,
Every piece of information that comes to us is important, and it matters, and we can choose to like take it or not. There might be a piece of information that comes to me, and even in a scene, I always like use scene stuff to talk about it, because it's like, well, first of all, that's what we're doing, is talking
yeah,
about how improv is related to real life, but it's also like, it's easier for maybe people to relate to a pretend scene rather than like something that happened in my life. But it's all related. Oh, what I was going to say is this idea of like narrative stuff. If somebody comes forward and like you offer a character, and then you kind of say the next character that makes sense, and then you take them to a place that makes sense and all that, again, that's like, it's fine and it's good. But what's really fun is to watch how these two really far apart things
hmm,
come together to be justified.
yeah,
Because if you're like, okay, if you think about Disney movies, like if you mashed up, like if two Disney movies, which like, maybe I shouldn't be talking about Disney right now, but like you took two movies and the scripts got messed up, so like you've got Aladdin and Ratatouille,
mhm,
and like, how are they going to come together? That's so fun to think about. And I think about that with life too. It's like,
mm,
oh, that's not what I thought was going to happen. Okay, now I get to see this really rich situation unfold where I get to be really here. And like, maybe in the discovery of this, something is better.
mhm,
Because if you could go this like really narrow lane, I'm executing exactly the way that we anticipated and we're just going forward. That is, first of all, I think a fallacy. I don't think that ever really exists. But
yeah,
secondly, that we, fine, fine. That might be great. There's no harm in that. But if you're able to open up to what might be possible, you don't even have to take it. you just can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really liberating.
That's so liberating. And I think those are my favorite moment. Even though I like avoid it, I think we all avoid it and
We all
also
do.
love it.
My gosh, we all
Again,
do.
the bothness. But I
Yeah.
go, those are my favorite things, my favorite stories, my favorite movies. My favorite is when I go, what?
What? Yeah.
Or this
Yeah.
was created and how did you get from there to there? But it's so intriguing and interesting and complex. And I go, I'm so drawn to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this so much. And I'm also thinking, and I'm curious for you, you're also a mom, a performer, an executive director. How do you handle all of that? Like, how do you integrate and work through the bothness through all of that?
I definitely am over capacity a lot of the time. I will
Mhm.
say that. And I'm in this cool place in my life that I am only doing things I really love to do, which makes it really hard to say no
Mhm.
to anything. But there's only so many hours in the day, and it's my biggest like area of growth and learning is how do I do this? How do I do everything that I want to do and also maintain my own health?
Mhm.
And sometimes it goes bad. Sometimes like pretty often I'm like, oops, I went over. I went over.
Mhm.
And I don't know yet. I'm just sort of I have allowed myself grace to sometimes be in the like red zone. I'm like, I'm in the red zone. I
Yeah.
gotta see what I can do to take it back down. And I don't allow shame or guilt to make that worse. That's the thing that I have learned is that for a long time it was like so stupid for doing that, like letting it get here. And like
Yeah.
that's not helping anybody. So I feel like I've gotten better at going, okay, this is true. It's just like improv. What is true and what do I do next? It is true. I have overcommitted to things. And the next thing is not doing this or saying no, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But at least acknowledging reality has without judgment for myself. And it's not like
Yeah.
I'm always good at it. My partner listen to this, he's gonna be like, I don't know about that. That's not fair. He's supportive. But just like it's a journey. It's constant. I
Mhm.
am in process. I'm never going to figure it out. And accepting that has really been lovely for me. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm always going to be somewhere along this journey, somewhere along this process, like until I die. And that's
Yeah.
okay. Dying will be winning. That will be the achievement. And like, then that's the only time that I will be done learning and growing and figuring it out.
I feel like I could learn a lot from that. And it also feels like improv in real life. I mean, I feel like I'm an ad for you right now, but I go, isn't that essentially what you're teaching everyone else and you're doing for yourself at home, which is so beautiful?
Yeah, improv is my greatest teacher. It's like my spiritual practice, it's my work, it's my art. It's constantly is teaching me things. And sometimes I forget. Like
Mhm.
there are things that I have learned and then forgotten and then returned to. And that's just
Yeah.
like a constant flow. It just has what I need. I mean, for me, like have you read the Mel Robbins Let Them book?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, we're women of a certain age. I think all we just are like, this is the book you got to read.
And I'm a
And
podcaster, so I'm like, yeah.
also
Yeah.
that. Very fair, very fair. A therapist. Like there's so many things at play
Mhm.
here. And it's very improv, very improv. Let them, let me, all of this. It's
That's so
also,
true.
I mean, I read most things with a like, is it improv lens? So we've got a little bit of
Okay,
confirmation
this
bias
is the
going
new
on.
show. It's not is it cake, is it improv?
Is it improv? And it's just me in the corner going, yep. Everything is improv. The thing I love about improv is that it reinforces that instantaneously.
Mm.
You cannot get by in improv by controlling, and this is my thing big time, is that I still, when I get scared, when I get anxious, I am gripping down. I'm trying to control. I'm trying to, because it's like, that's what keeps me safe,
Mhm.
and like,
Mhm.
I'm just like, how do I get my grip on this thing so it doesn't hurt me?
Yeah.
And in improv, if you do that, it's over.
Hmm.
The scene is done. You can't do it. It won't feel good, and you'll realize it very quickly. And so the
Mhm.
only thing that you're rewarded for is to let go. Let go and
Mm.
be present. And that's the only way that it feels good. So it's not like conscious learned, it's felt. You feel, oh, when I let go and I'm here, it's better. And when
Mhm.
I try to brain it, and grip and whatever, think through all these things ahead of time, or I don't know, whatever, be the best at it in like an individual way. I'm not sure. Like whatever it is,
Yeah.
you are just getting in your own way and you feel it. It's because sometimes at work or whatever, you might be like, I'm getting in my own way, or you receive
Mm-hmm.
feedback from a therapist. It's very like conscious. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking through it, I'm talking through it. And in improv, it's like you are feeling it. You feel immediately when it's just not, when you've hit some kind of wall.
And what a way to help people reconnect. And I think you've said this earlier, but I think especially as women, I've talked a lot about this in previous episodes. There is, I think, this tendency for us to learn over the years how to disconnect our brain and our thoughts from actually and I give this example a lot. I go, I know all the feelings I'm feeling. I'm very in my head. I'm a therapist. I'm like, I'm feeling this, and this is the trauma it came from, and this is how it's
Mhm.
showing up, and da da da. But I am not letting it go into my body and like feel it, and that's how I think we have had to navigate the world more so as women, and not just women, any gender, but you see it more historically there. And what a beautiful way to help you reconnect to your body and your gut and go, oh my God, that is my biggest tool
Mhm.
is my gut, my
Yes.
intuition, my feeling. And so if I can just get out of here and let my body be the one leading me, yes, I will. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
And you don't have to leave your brain behind. Your brain's
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Yeah.
just on the ride with you. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I need my brain to improvise too.
Of
We're just
course.
like also connecting to my body. There's something that's like really, when I'm stuck, if I'm like, I have nothing in this scene, I walk out with an emotion. I let
Mm,
it be in my body. And I say, and I coach this a lot with people. I'm like,
that's good.
drench yourself in that emotion. That's something you can decide. If you're like, I am, I wasn't listening, whatever it is, for whatever reason, you don't know what you're about to say. It happens in improv shows all the time. All the time. You're like, you get to a place when you're like, I got nothing.
Hmm.
Then choose an emotion and let it be in your body, and let your body, or like decide to like have a walk or hold your body in a way that's going to inform your brain what to say.
Hmm.
And it works every single time. Every single time. If I'm stuck, I let my body make some kind of, I let my body kind of show me or tell me. It's really helpful. It's helpful in a scene. I think that, sometimes I've been cold plunging,
Ugh.
trendy, whatever.
Mhm.
I love it. Talk about like
Do you?
things that I love
Okay.
it. I think it makes me a better person because it's hard, but it's hard for a minute, and I can do anything for a minute. And I really know that because I've given birth twice. And
Mhm.
I like, not that people who haven't given birth can't also access this, but to your point about women and like
It's a different level.
it's a different level, and the
Yeah.
tools that we have. And I just like that. But I have this, if I feel myself start to shiver,
Mm.
I am like, all right, body, like just think about it and just like let that go. And I'm able to stop shivering, which I think
Really?
it's just, I mean, not always. I'm not like superpower, but I'd say 95% of the time I
Wow.
can connect those things. And that's what that practice is for me. It's this like, I'm really uncomfortable right now,
Mm.
but I can get through this. And it's just me here. It's just me. So I can do this. So I really love it. Improv has given me those tools. Improv and parenthood, but like before
Mhm.
parenthood, definitely improv of like, ooh, this is uncomfortable, but I'm not scared of sitting in discomfort anymore.
Mhm.
It's not like I necessarily seek it out. I think there are some people who really seek out that kind of
Mhm.
adrenaline or discomfort. I wouldn't say that's me. Like I'm not like an extreme sports person or anything, but I'm okay. I know that I can get through it. I know that it will be okay. And I think that's improv. I credit that to improv. And like this decade long practice
Mhm.
of improv.
I mean, I think the takeaway here is everybody should be doing improv.
Thank
This
you.
is what
That's
I'm
what I
hearing.
hoped you would say. Yes, that's what I'm here on earth. This is the hill I die on.
Yeah.
Everybody should take an improv class. Nobody is surprised that I'm saying that here.
I love it. Oh gosh, I feel like I could talk to you forever, but thank you. Thank you so much. I just feel like so many impactful, important things, not only in your experience and what you've shared and what you are doing now, but also in the work of improv itself and just helping us be a bit more present and a bit more connected and deal with the bothness of life is kind of how I view it. So I'm just, yeah, I'm so grateful. to you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Yeah. It's part of my work in addition to being an improviser and teaching with unscripted is like I speak about this too, specifically about like failure, because that was my biggest scary was, what if I mess it up? What if I'm not good? What if I'm not the achiever? What if I don't win? And it's so opening when you like possibilities just pour in if you're open to failure, or even if you celebrate it, like we celebrate mistakes. So yeah, thank you. I agree. It's good. It's good everywhere. There's things to learn in all aspects of life from it.
Yes. And before we go, I would love to know, I have an end segment that I call ridiculous or relatable. So is there something you do that is totally ridiculous, weird quirk, irrational fear that is ridiculous, but to others might be relatable?
Okay.
And I can give you, I was going to say, if you need examples, but if not, go for it.
I mean, give me an example. I'm curious, and then I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
I realized this the other day at work. When I go into a bathroom, a lot of mine are bathroom related. It's a weird, I don't know why. I will start like, as I go in the door, I start to like unbutton my pants and unzip my pants before I'm even in the stall. And I have to stop myself because I'm like, I'm not at home right now. Nicole, like, you're not at home. Stop unbuttoning your pants. How weird is that? And it's not like fully, but it is just like I'm starting to like prep to, because I'm like trying to get in and out quick to get back to like a meeting. And I won't do it if somebody is like blatantly there. But if I don't see anyone blatantly when I walk in, I'm like just hitting the button already. Really weird. And I've had to stop because I'm like, this is we don't need to be unbuttoning our pants right now.
Your thing made me think of a different thing. Can I share two? My first one was very fast.
Please.
So related, but maybe exact opposite of you. If there's a mirror in the, like how sometimes in bars, there will be like an individual and there's like a mirror in the bathroom. Just in case it's a two-way mirror, I'll do a little show. It's because I'm a performer. So if you see my performances, you'll know that I'm very much embracing the sort of like playfulness of female sexuality and like all of that is very so like enticing to me as an artist. And so I'm just like, if you're going to see me naked, I might as well be in charge of what you're seeing. And that honestly, it speaks a lot to who I am, just that. So there's that. I've always, since I was going to bars in college, I've done that. That's
amazing.
Yeah. And it's because when I was in middle school, one of my basketball coaches was like a former military police officer, and she taught us how to like do a finger trick on the mirror to see if it was a two-way mirror. And so I check it, but sometimes you can't always tell. Like it like,
wait, what's the trick? I need to know.
If there's a gap, so if they touch like this in the reflection, it's a two-way mirror. And that's how you can Google this, because it's been many years since she taught me this. But sometimes it looks like part of the reflection is touching and part of it has a gap. And I just in case, I do a little number, just in case.
This is amazing.
So that's what made me think about it. But my true irrational fear is mascots. So I was in marching band. I was a marching band director, and I was in band in college to the University of Kansas, Rock Chalk. And mascots really, really freak me out, and it's totally has to do with control because I can't see their faces. I know there's human beings inside there, but I can't tell what's up with them. Like I can't I read people very easily. Like I'm good at that. And so not having access to this information, I feel so scared. And the mascots in college, because the band and mascots and cheerleaders often would travel together. They're very related. The mascots love to come over to the band and like mess with them. They knew they found out about this about me and just would mess with me. And I would like, it was a real problem. Anyway, that's my irrational fear. Those are both mascots.
Really good ones.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people have that with mascots, even though I don't know that most people could articulate it, but not being able to see the face, but you know it's a human. That is weird. That is odd.
So weird. It's so weird. Masks also kind of weird me out.
But I don't like masks.
But like full body, this is too much for me. I can't do it.
I mean, I think there's relatability in both of those. So
thank you.
And they're ridiculous. Like it's both
are a little have to do with control, which I've already said is kind of the thing that is for me. So now you got my whole journey. That's where it started. Improv is where it goes.
And that's the perfect end.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So great to have you. I just want to say thank you so much to Emma for being here and having this conversation today. Thank you for reminding us that progress doesn't come from avoiding mistakes, but from celebrating them together. If you want to learn more about Emma's work or the Unscripted nonprofit here in Nashville, you can visit unscriptedimprov.org, or you can also follow them on Instagram at unscriptedimprov. You can also visit Emma's website at Emma Supica. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could support the show and help it grow. First, please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, because your words help new listeners to find us. Second, share the episode with someone who might need it, because that's how this community grows, through real people, real stories, and honest conversations shared from one person to another. Finally, make sure you follow the show so you never miss an episode. Just tap the little plus sign or follow button on the main show page. These really are the most impactful things that you can do for the podcast. So thank you again for listening. And this week, take some time to recognize what in your life is full of bothness. And remember, it's okay to feel all the things, because so many times in life, it isn't either or, it's both.